annual Jordan Brand Classic. From MVP to Rookie of the Year, before they were college and NBA stars, they took the stage here in the Jordan Brand Classic. Tomorrow's stars shine tonight here in Brooklyn. Welcome to New York City and welcome to the 2015 Jordan Brand Classic here at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. What a game we've got tonight with two of the best teams you could put together from the class of 2015, East versus West, in the 14th annual Jordan Brand Classic. Happy to welcome you courtside, Mike Cousins with Paul Biancardi, ESPN's National Director of Recruiting and former national champ at Arizona, Miles Simon. Thanks so much for joining us. So for these seniors, their high school seasons are done. No more AAU basketball. This is it for the class of 2015. And Paul, let's start by looking at one of our players to watch in this game, Antonio Blakeney, part of a surprise class on the rise at LSU.
A tremendous scoring guard, gifted and dangerous scoring machine. He has the mindset and the talent to score the ball at a moment's notice. A three-point shot with quickness and length. He's hard to defend, and he signed with Johnny Jones at LSU.
And Miles on the other side, the number 3 player in the country, extremely versatile, is Skal Labissiere.
Labissiere coming off a monster performance at the Hoop Summit last week. 21 points, 6 blocks. He's best on the defensive end, but his offensive game continues to improve, and he's been good in the mid-range. He's an excellent athlete and a good finisher around the rim.
6'10", 210-pounder. Starting lineups for the East. Head coach Gary DeCesar from St. Rita High School in Chicago. Isaiah Briscoe headed to Kentucky from nearby in New Jersey. Cheick Diallo, undeclared, who plays his high school basketball on Long Island. Thinking about St. John's as part of his final of 5. Reserves there, Thomas Bryant recently made his verbal commitment to play at Indiana. Luke Kennard, Henry Ellenson, Jaylen Brown, all out with fatigue or injuries. Ellenson, a broken hand in the Wisconsin State playoffs. For the West, under head coach Kevin Boyle from Montverde Academy in Florida, Ivan Rabb on Monday made his verbal commitment to play at Cal, and Malik Newman, the number 4 player in the country, is still undecided for his college commitment. And the reserves, number 1 player in the country, Ben Simmons, sitting out. Get his legs back under him before he heads to LSU. Steven Zimmerman last night committed to UNLV. Here we go. It's the West in the white uniforms. Ivan Rabb at the center circle to jump it up with Cheick Diallo. And Rabb headed to California. Gets us underway here in Brooklyn. Malik Newman gets the shooting started, but gets the back iron. And on the breakaway, Cheick Diallo has the game's first 2 points.
The MVP of the McDonald's game. Diallo does it with a high motor. Excellent athlete. Looking at St. John's, Kansas, Kentucky, and Iowa State.
Paul Diallo's a guy that just plays hard on every possession, always runs the floor, an excellent rebounder, and as we see there, the athleticism to finish on the break.
And Blakeney, the number 14 player in the nation, with the pump fake, gets 2 for the West.
Blakeney can score a basket, 2 in the white, really at a moment's notice. Johnny Jones is going to utilize him as a 2 guard. He's got Ben Simmons coming in as a small forward slash power forward. A lot of talent headed to LSU.
Got it. And if LSU really could have kept Jarrell Martin and Jordan Mickey around, or even one of those guys, you're looking at a team that probably would have been in the top 10, would have competed for the SEC championship, but they'll still have plenty of depth there in the Bayou with Simmons, Quarterman, Elbert Robinson, and Arizona transfer Craig Victor.
Diallo off from 15 feet. Underneath, Rabb has his shot swatted away by Caleb Swanigan, and then gets the putback. Swanigan just recently made his verbal commitment to play at Michigan State, the number 2 class now in the ESPN Recruiting Nation rankings.
You see Ivan Rabb, 23 in the white, can score with either hand close to the rim.
Let's join the 4th member of our crew. That's Quinn Kesnet.
It's been a newsworthy last 2 weeks as 4 of these high-end players have given verbal commitments. Last night culminating with Steven Zimmerman, who elects to stay home in Las Vegas and attend UNLV. This game features 3 undecideds. You guys mentioned Jaylen Brown, the #2 player in the ESPN 100. He'll sit it out. Cheick Diallo, 6'9" power forward, scored that basket earlier from Mali via Long Island. He's playing in front of a lot of family today. And then Malik Newman, #4 on the ESPN 100. 6 remaining schools, no official visits, which is very interesting. There's some talk and some speculation that he may consider playing overseas, mulling his options, Mike.
Well, it was the path taken by Emmanuel Mudiay from Prime Prep in Dallas. Was going to go to SMU. That didn't work out. So Newman has so far taken an interesting path to his recruitment. But Miles, you can relate a little bit.
Yeah, I really can, because when I was choosing college back in ages ago, 1993, I only took one official visit, and that was to the University of Florida. And when I got back from the University of Florida, I kind of knew that it was too far away from home and that I wasn't going to end up going to play for Lon Kruger, and actually committed to University of Arizona sight unseen. I felt very comfortable with Lute Olson and the staff and the players that they had in the program at the time to be able to do that. So everybody is different. Sometimes you don't need to see the campus. You can have a feel for the guys that are going to be there and the coaching staff by just talking with them.
Check out this assist by Isaiah Briscoe, 11 in the black, headed to Kentucky for John Calipari. And he gives it up to Cheick Diallo, who Kentucky is trying to get. Diallo has a home visit tonight with Kansas after the game. Tomorrow he'll meet with Chris Mullin, John Calipari on Monday.
And that's part of the fun. We look at Isaiah Briscoe going to Kentucky. Malik Newman has Kentucky on his list of prospective schools. There's a lot of recruitment between players going on at these type of events because they've been with each other for the last 3 weeks.
And they should do that. And that's the thing that I think you're seeing more and more. Obviously, in college basketball, we've seen it in the NBA when the superstars are teaming up. Guys are wanting to play with better players, some of the best players in the country, because they know that can lead to help you winning a national championship, get to a Final Four.
Ball out of bounds on the baseline.
To your point, Miles, I remember when the Celtics did it with Pierce, Garnett, and Allen. It brought them a championship under Doc Rivers. We saw the Miami Heat do it. We saw Duke do it in college basketball with Okafor and Jones.
Blakeney on the breakaway, finishes with the right hand.
This guy is a creative scorer, an explosive scorer, Antonio Blakeney.
Blakeney had 65 points in a high school game one time, played for the Each One Teach One AAU program.
With Ben Simmons on that Florida-based AAU program, and he said that relationship was a big part of him going to LSU because he originally was committed to Louisville.
Grayson Allen, who starred for Duke in the championship game, also part of that Each One Teach One AAU program.
Yeah, a lot of people probably learned his name right at the very end of the college basketball season.
We had him in our top 25. We loved him. Athletic, fearless, and way more than a shooter. We saw that championship game.
And what guys don't understand about Grayson Allen has some big hands, Paul, and I know you spent some time around him. He'll be play more of a prominent role next season, obviously exploding on the scene in the national championship game. But that backcourt for Each One Teach One was Joel Berry, D'Angelo Russell, who's going to be a top 4 pick in the draft this year, more than likely. Look at that. Great pocket pass by Richardson right there to the diving Diallo.
And that's if D'Angelo Russell goes. Decision still up in the air.
Off the pick and roll, Malachi Richardson, known as a shooter, trying to get the assist to Cheick Diallo. This guy just plays with a never-ending motor. 13 in the black. Never gives up on a play. Outstanding shot blocker, rebounder. Coaches just love this guy, Miles.
Yeah, and you can see every reason why. And for any of those schools that he's going to end up choosing, he's going to be a difference maker right away, a guy who's going to be an instant impact guy, be able to contribute on the defensive end of the floor as well as score around the basket. Kind of more of a garbage guy. You're not going to throw it to him in the post area, but he's going to run, rebound, and defend.
Michigan State making the jump up to #2 in our top 10 recruiting classes with Deontay Davis, who just checked in, number 21 in the white for the West team, as well as Caleb Swanigan out of Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Let's see if these superstars can keep their spacing.
Diallo goes right past Steven Zimmerman to the bucket.
This guy loves all-star games, huh? McDonald's MVPs come out strong here at the Jordan Brand Classic.
Alonzo Trier dishes back for Tyler Dorsey, and from the elbow, the future Oregon Duck has two.
I love Tyler Dorsey. He's going to fit in seamlessly up there for Dana Altman's squad. He'll replace Joseph Young on that perimeter as an instant offense guy.
Well, check out the LSU signee, Antonio Blakeney, the best pure scorer in the class, attacking the rim.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the 2015 Jordan Brand Classic is brought to you by Jordan Brand. We are Jordan. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully. Dream fearlessly. And Gatorade. Gatorade knows it all begins within. Win from within.
There's a look at Terminal 23, the former Jazz Club turned basketball facility back at the Jordan Brand Classic in Brooklyn. A 12-10 lead for the West team over the East. 15:26 left here in the first. And let's send it over to the sidelines. Quint is with Antonio Blakeney.
Yeah, Mr. Florida basketball. From this week here in New York City, what stands out?
Really just the atmosphere and all the players here competing. You know, most players, you know, it's like their third or fourth event, so they're probably tired. But everybody came in and competed, so that was fun. You chose LSU to kind of chart your own path. You said you didn't want to be a follower, you want to be a leader. Why the challenge? Yeah, because I love to take challenges, so that's something I know what I can do. So it's not really like a challenge; it's just something I'm going to go do. For people who haven't seen you play, how do you best describe your game? A competitor who plays 100% every time he's going on the floor. You know, a scorer, someone who just wants to win. How do you describe your start tonight? I think I started off pretty well. I mean, loose hands a little bit. I dropped the pass, but I'm gonna pick it up when I get back in. Thanks. Thank you, Mike.
Now, so far, shooting 2 of 4. You know, Paul, the important thing to note about that LSU class is it's got number 1, Ben Simmons, number 14, Antonio Blakeney. Johnny Jones still has 2 scholarships left, and they're in hot pursuit of Brandon Sampson, Louisiana's Mr. Basketball.
He's a great athlete, originally committed to Steve Lavin at St. John's. And they're trying to get Malik Newman as well. Malik was there at the LSU-Kentucky game for an unofficial visit. Johnny Jones not done recruiting.
Here's Thomas Bryant onto the floor with a new cast of characters led by Jalen Brunson going to the rim and drawing the foul, the future Villanova Wildcat.
Paul, and as we look at that class, obviously with Simmons and Blakeney, but you got to look at the guys that are going to be surrounding those two guys, and how is Ben Simmons going to be used? I mentioned earlier, if Jarrell Martin and Jordan Mickey come back, then Simmons could use his perimeter skills as a bigger guy, get mismatches. But you have a feeling, you know, Simmons can be used maybe at the power forward spot. We know what an excellent passer he is. He can shoot the basketball. He can handle it off a defensive rebound and really push in transition. If Elbert Robinson can really contribute down low, Craig Victor should be eligible, I believe, at the semester after transferring from Arizona. And then Tim Quarterman, who had a big-time year for the LSU Tigers. They're going to have a nice squad, a top 20, I want to say top 20, top 25 team coming in for Johnny Jones.
And you got the shooter, Keith Hornsby, from the outside. And the NBA loves Tim Quarterman. I talked to some scouts who are hoping he'd come out this year.
And there we see Tyler Dorsey once again. This is a guy, finished his high school career at Maranatha High School, averaged over 30 a game. He had 11 40-point games, 40 points or more, 11 times this season.
Scout Labissiere just inside the arc. Scouts love the high arc on his jumper.
The high release point elevates well. What a soft touch for a big guy. From the three-point line or with the jump hook inside for Big Scout. See the passing by Zimmerman. The best passing big man, but that guy right there, Deontay Davis, he doesn't get enough national attention. He's headed to Michigan State to play for Tom Izzo.
Yeah, Davis is really going to impact the game on the defensive end right away for the Spartans. Had 199 blocks, the state of Michigan record his junior year.
And that's what he does, Miles. He impacts the game with his shot blocking ability, rebounding, and he can get some points on the offensive end.
So a foul on the drive by Labissiere. There is Kevin Boyle, head coach at Montverde Academy. Only a few years into his tenure there after a very successful coaching career in the state of New Jersey. But 3 straight years now, winners of the mythical high school national championship. And certainly helps to have some of the most talented players in the country. D'Angelo Russell last year, Ben Simmons for the last couple of years. But Kevin Boyle is one of, if not the best, high school coaches in the nation.
He started at St. Patrick's High School in New Jersey, where he coached Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, Kyrie Irving, not too bad. Number 2 and number 1.
That makes your job a little bit easier.
And the Kevin demands defense from his stars, and he's got an all-star assistant coaching lineup. Bob Cimino, longtime head coach, Mount Vernon in New York, and Lou Ritchie, Bishop O'Dowd, that's Ivan Rabb's coach. They just won the California State Championship.
Hey, how about not mentioning that, because they beat Mater Dei.
I was just going to mention that. They beat Mater Dei, and we know this, Miles, but Ivan Rabb hit the game-winning free throws for Bishop O'Dowd.
Yes, he did. But you mentioned Bob Cimino from Mount Vernon, Coach Ben Gordon, Isaiah Cousins, who's starring at Oklahoma right now, and that's also home to Denzel Washington.
And had Kevin Jones from West Virginia, Michael Coburn as well. Trier down the lane and gets a friendly bounce.
Miles and I were trying to get out of the way over here. We thought he was going to throw it.
The Wildcat family is lucky and blessed to have Alonzo Trier, going to wear that red, white, and blue next season. He is an ultimate bucket getter, is Trier, and you saw some of the athleticism.
Labissiere scores over everybody.
You know, he really reminds me of Anthony Davis in a lot of ways. The athleticism. He's a better shooter than Davis at the same stage. I thought Anthony Davis was a better shot blocker at the same stage. But the length, the skill, the mobility, outstanding.
Yeah, Davis's shooting really came around probably late in his freshman year when he started extending his range for the Kentucky Wildcats when they won the national title. And here you see Trier in transition. Nobody stops the basketball. Tries to throw it down with one hand, gets a little bit loose, but able to rattle that thing home. Alonzo Trier finished his high school career at Finlay Prep, also played at Montrose Christian. But he'll fit in nicely. If Stanley Johnson's still undecided, but they lost Rondé Hollis Jefferson, lost Ashley, Gabe York will be back. And keep this name in mind, as Kadeem Allen, who was a JUCO All-American, will come off the red shirt next year, and he'll compete with Trier for a lot of minutes at that shooting guard spot.
Newman left his feet, didn't have anywhere to go with it. It's Labissiere running the floor.
And the Wildcats, your Wildcats, Miles, have the #3 class in the country. Trier is going to be a big addition scoring the ball, but they also have Ray Smith.
Coming off the ACL injury from Las Vegas. And
Justin Simon, really good point guard out of Brewster Academy, plays for Jason Smith, one of the best prep school coaches in the country, in my opinion. And Chance Comanche, big guy, good skill. Still needs his body to work on, but a guy who will develop over 4 years.
Yeah, and what's going to happen with Comanche, he'll have the chance to play behind Tarczewski and Ristich next year.
Some nice guard play in this game with Jalen Brunson on the drive, going to the free throw line, and we've seen some stellar 1s and 2s in this game. Derrick Rose, Chris Paul have played here in the Jordan Brand Classic. The lineage continues tonight here in Brooklyn. Well, just because he went to college in the 90s doesn't mean he doesn't still have the shot going. Obstacle course record here at the Nets practice facility was 8 seconds. Miles shattered it with an Olympic-like time of 7 seconds this afternoon. How did you do it? What was the secret to your success?
Just being able to dribble the ball a little bit and then be able to, most importantly, throw the ball through the target.
Check out the high release. He's still got stroke. He just doesn't move as well as he did in the 90s.
I do not move well at all. No game shape for me.
Miles Simon, Paul Biancardi, Mike Cousins, and Quinn Kesnick on the sidelines. Here with you from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. And this is Jalen Brunson at the free throw line on his way to Villanova next year.
There we go.
You surpassed that today, scoring 27 points in the obstacle course.
But it doesn't show his shot attempts. That's what I want to know. I want to know your percentage, Miles.
I was a good passer in college. I had Mike Bibby, Jason Terry around me, Michael Dickerson. I had some guys that could fill it up. I like that young man that was just at the line, though. Jalen Brunson, son of Rick Brunson, going to Villanova. Going to be an excellent fit at the point guard spot.
Yeah, he's the best pure point guard in the class. A leader, a winner, can organize a team, can get his buckets on his own, too.
On the breakaway, some contact at the rim, and who else? Chet Diallo there to clean it up.
You know, and now he's getting an assist. How about he got an offensive rebound and an assist?
But you know what I like early about this game and through the first 9 minutes? Guys are defending. They're playing hard. There was a breakaway layup chance right there. They went and contested, blocked the shot. Guys are competing at a high level throughout the first half.
We just saw that shot there from Malik Beasley. He's part of the Florida State class that is going to give a great invigoration to the Seminoles next year for Leonard Hamilton.
I love Beasley. One of the sleepers, I believe, in this class. Really athletic.
Young man from Atlanta, Georgia, won a state title at St. Francis. You team him up with Dwayne Bacon on the wing, and Xavier Rattan-Mays. We know what he was doing at the end of the season for Florida State.
Count basket for Tyler Davis.
Well, the NBA playoffs tip off on ESPN and ABC tomorrow. 12:30 on ESPN, the Wizards and Raptors. 3:30 on ABC, the Pelicans and Anthony Davis, former co-MVP of this game, take on the Warriors. It's Bucks and Bulls, and then 9:30, Mavs and Rockets on ESPN.
And Miles, to your point about that Florida State class, they also have a young man by the name of Terrence Mann who played in the regional game earlier. He was outstanding. He'll be a glue guy for Leonard Hamilton. But the infusion of offensive talent headed to Florida State for Leonard Hamilton, one of the best defensive coaches in the country. I see Florida State as a potential top 25 team next year.
Yeah,
I really do.
And I remember watching the McDonald's game this year, and Jay Williams asking, you see the great pass there by Briscoe to Diallo. Diallo running the floor, but Jay Williams asked Dwayne Bacon, what can you learn from Leonard Hamilton? He says, I want to become a better defender, and Coach Hamilton's the guy that can teach me that.
I mean, he takes talent and makes it defend.
Ball knocked out of bounds by Ivan Rapp.
Check out this assist by Isaiah Briscoe. He's setting the table. He's making sure everyone else eats first. In the past, Isaiah Briscoe would eat first himself, take the shots. He'd be a shoot-first point guard. Now he's a pass-first point guard. Love the transformation in that young man's game.
Reverse layup wasn't there for Swanigan, so he gets it out for Malachi Richardson, the shooter from Trenton, New Jersey.
Look at that, right back at you, Malik Newman. So quick, agile, the body control right there, the athleticism, gets down the court in about less than 4 seconds and able to lay it up over the rim.
Always has been a national player. Ever since he was a freshman, he's been on the scene. He's battle-tested.
Swanigan drops it off in the lane. The rejection from Davis. Check Diallo. Very similar to what he did in the McDonald's game. Effort and energy.
He's not the most polished big man in the class. He's certainly not the most skilled. He may be the most athletic big, but nobody plays harder than Check Diallo.
And Davis with the rebound, going to Texas A&M next year, part of the number 4 class. It's a revival there for Billy Kennedy.
Tyler Davis going to be a load inside for Billy Kennedy.
Well, watch the speed of Malik Newman, young man from Mississippi. Changes direction, a little bit of a change of pace right there. The crossover left to right. Nobody defends him. Nobody stops the basketball. And he's able to get all the way to the rim.
When Newman is making his three-point shot, I think he's unguardable because he has the pull-up, he has the floater, and we see him get to the rim, finish through contact. He has great body control. But that three-point shot is streaky. But when it goes down, boy, and he's in attack mode, he's hard to guard one-on-one.
And really has no range. We saw him back in February play against Diamond Stone up outside Milwaukee, and that was a game where he could seemingly shoot it from anywhere.
Two-time MVP for USA Basketball. He's won 2 gold medals with USA Basketball and Don Showalter.
And on top of that, 4 state titles for Callaway High School.
If you want to vote for the Jordan Brand Classic East and West MVPs, tweet with the hashtag #NextVersusNext and the players' last names. Next versus next, players' last names. Tally those votes for the East and West MVPs. Austin Grandstaff out of Texas, headed to Ohio State with the miss, and it's picked up by Briscoe. Newman's got a 3-on-1. He lobs it for Beasley.
I'm telling you, Malik Beasley is going to pass a lot of guys that are ahead of him in the rankings. Super athlete, good floater. As you mentioned, Miles, a hard-working kid. He's really coachable.
Well, I think the thing that you see with Beasley and Bacon will be able to really fit alongside each other in the ACC, and they'll be a deadly tandem, especially where they can score the basketball and get out in transition and finish like that. The Seminole fans will be pleased in Tallahassee.
Blaney High School in Wilmington, North Carolina, the birthplace of one of the best basketball careers of all time, Michael Jordan. Here we are at the Jordan Brand Classic 2015 in Brooklyn. And let's take a look at the American Family Insurance Jordan Brand Classic. Did you know it's year number 14 here, as the first game was 2002 back in Washington. What's so impressive about the rosters from this game, we take a look at Carmelo Anthony there of the Knicks here in Brooklyn, is 103 players from this game currently in the NBA. Over the last 3 years, Paul, you've had 35 players from this game either make it to the NBA or from last year declare for the NBA. That's 45% of the players over the last 3 years.
We're watching the stars right now. The freshman stars at a college game next year. And the Jordan Brand Classic always has NBA upside in this game.
And our American Family Insurance, did you know? It's American Family Insurance. Hashtag dream fearlessly.
See right there, I would love to see Labissiere just try to attack Zimmerman. Labissiere with a nice quick first step, but he settled for the jumper, and Zimmerman at 7 feet easily able to contest.
Alonzo Trier with the triple. He's now got 9.
And he's 4 for 4 for the Arizona fans.
Ten-point game now with Brunson going back to the free throw line. 17th player in the ESPN 100. Had a great year at Adlai Stevenson High School. Won a Class 4A title, averaging 23 points and 5 assists.
His dad, Ricky Brunson, was a great player at Temple. Played in the NBA, coached in the NBA. And Ricky more of a scoring guard, Jalen more of a pure point guard.
Jalen has such a high basketball IQ. I got to coach against him as he played for the MacIrvin Fire and in the EYBL. His teammates from a couple years ago, Jahlil Okafor, Cliff Alexander. But Brunson just so smooth, heady, has great change of pace to his game.
Bucket counts and the foul.
And here's the possession before. Alonzo Trier, if you back up on him, his range is unlimited. He shoots it 23, 24, 25 feet with ease. He has a smooth stroke. He keeps that elbow tight. And most importantly, he shoots it with great legs, even off the bounce, Paul.
And great confidence. And he can make contested shots. Sean Miller is going to have to live with a few contested shots next year. Because I know one thing, Trier's going to take them. But to your point about Brunson, you know, Jay Wright told me that Jalen Brunson was one of the most mature and advanced point guards that he's seen in a long time.
Thomas Bryant tries his hand at 3, and well, you might judge at 6'10" and say, hey, he shouldn't be shooting from there. He's certainly capable of it. Deontay Davis throws down at the other end.
Look at that pass right there from Blakely. Delivers that right on the money, off the bounce, perfectly to Deontay Davis from about 30 feet away.
How about the catch by Davis on the move? Tom Izzo has Deontay Davis and Caleb Swanigan, 2 5-star guys in the front court next year for Michigan State. They lose Brandon Dawson, which is going to be a big loss, and point guard, scoring guard Trice, I'm sorry.
But Michigan State, they can reload. You get Denzel Valentine back, Aaron Harris, the transfer from West Virginia, Marvin Clark, Tum Tum Nairn, and then a guy that I think is kind of underrated, and I don't know how he'll fit in next year, but Matt McQuaid can really shoot the basketball.
Great stroke from the state of Texas. Good size, too, 6'5", just a little thin right now.
Brunson going to work, had a mismatch there against Zimmerman, and Bryant fouled on the way up. Steven Zimmerman last night, he said earlier in the day, I might just make my decision, tweet it, and then go to sleep. And he did just that and committed to UNLV last night.
But when he put that tweet out, he kept everybody up in the media. That was what he had to work.
11:30 Eastern time.
Well, I love the fact that he kind of just did it so nonchalantly and made his decision and is confident with it. And when you look at this UNLV team next year, they have one of the best front courts now, maybe in all of college basketball. When you add Zimmerman to Christian Wood, who maybe he's still considering going in the draft. Christian Wood, who had an excellent season. Derek Jones, who played in the regional game before this, a great athlete. Ben Carter, Goodluck Okinobo, an elite shot blocker, and then Dwayne Morgan. They're loaded right now. Now they just need some guards, and I read that Nigel Williams-Goss is supposed to be on campus soon, if not now, for the Rebels to transfer from Washington.
Charles Matthews on his way to Kentucky puts it down. A guy who's going to be playing for a top 25 school next year, but doesn't necessarily catch eyes like, say, a Skal Labissiere does.
I love Charles Matthews. I love everything about him. His versatility, production level. He's not fancy, but he's really effective. Scoring the ball, rebounding, defense, assist. He had a big night. We called his game, Mike, against Simeon. St. Rita wins the game. Charles Matthews goes for double-digit points and double-figure rebounds.
Eric Davis drops it off. Labissiere versus Zimmerman. Call it a push that time.
Zimmerman does a good job right there of going straight up, almost like the rule of verticality. Maybe you could have seen Labissiere take one more power dribble, pump fake. Zimmerman tried to go through the contact and get the and one.
That was next versus next.
We just saw Gary DeCesar there, the head coach at St. Rita High School in Chicago, and no stranger to New York. Still got the New York area code on his phone, and coached for a long time at St. Raymond's High School in the Bronx.
Coach DeCesar still has that New York accent. Longtime great coach for St. Ray's, as you mentioned.
Coached some great players. Julius Hodge, star at NC State. Kareem Reed played at Arkansas, ultra quick guard.
And he's done a fabulous job at St. Rita in Chicago, putting them back on the map.
Davis drops it off for Thomas Bryant.
Thomas Bryant.
This guy's going to be a welcome addition to the Indiana Hoosiers, Thomas Bryant. 31 in the black. Great rebounder. Plays the game at a high energy level.
And I think he can give them that post presence that they've really been missing under Tom Crean. And you pair him with Yogi Ferrell, James Blackman, and then Troy Williams running the lane with his athleticism. Now you have a team that's going to compete possibly for a Big Ten title.
Don't forget about Robert Johnson.
The NBA playoffs are on ABC. Countdown tips things off at 2:30 on Sunday. And then LeBron James and the second-seeded Cavaliers take on the Celtics at 3. A split of that season series 2-2. Right now, scales tip a little bit toward Cleveland.
Big props to Brad Stevens.
Yes.
Has done an outstanding job with the Boston Celtics. Terrific young coach when he was at Butler. Final Fours, but took a franchise that was really down and built it back up with patience and hard work.
Foul stops the clock with 3:58 to go. When we come back, a chat with the number 3 player in the country, Skal Labissiere. Made a long journey from his home country of Haiti here to the United States. Next year, he'll be playing at Kentucky. We'll hear from him after this timeout. In the now 14-year history of the Jordan Brand Classic, some of the best names in the NBA have come through this game. Dwight Nmari, Anthony Davis, and Jahlil Okafor. The question is, who is next? Skal Labissiere certainly in that conversation, and he's with Quinn.
Skal, back in 2010, there was a devastating earthquake in Haiti, and you and your family were in the middle of it. What happened, and what'd you learn from that experience?
I just remember going home from practice and saying hi to my mother. She was sitting in the living room, and my little brother was there too. And I remember going in the bathroom because I was really hungry, so I went in the bathroom to wash my hands, because I was about to get something to eat. And the house started to shake, and I ran to my mom. My little brother did too, and the house fell down on us. Thankfully, my dad wasn't outside, and it took him about 3 hours to get us out of there.
Yeah, he dug you out. You said you couldn't walk for a bunch of weeks. Over 200,000 people perished. That led you to Memphis, Tennessee to play basketball. When did you realize that college basketball was going to be in your future?
First of all, I want to give glory to God, because without him, I wouldn't be here today. And I want to thank my guardian because of his organization. He was the one who brought me here to Memphis, Tennessee. That's how I got here. Richard Dream Prep. That was his team I played for. And it's been a really good experience. I learned a lot from it. It's definitely a blessing from God being here playing basketball, because I could have been dead too. I could have my legs taken away from me or anything. So I'm very thankful to be here.
What's the dream at Kentucky for you?
Win national championship, so definitely.
You said you wanted to go back to Haiti someday and help the kids out.
Yes, sir. I understand that where I came from and the position that I'm in today, a lot of kids back home wish they're in my place and my position. So, I want to go back home and help a lot of them. Life is not just about basketball, like I said before, and I want to help them spiritually and, just guide them to life.
That's tremendous. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mike.
Thank you.
It's a story of perseverance for Skal Labissiere, who was offered by Dan Calipari after the first game of his sophomore year of high school.
Well, I love the fact that he's socially conscious and he wants to get back home. He has not been back to Haiti since he's entered the United States. But the fact that he wants to go back and help young people, show that dreams can be achieved if you work hard and get the opportunity. And you can tell that young man is totally thankful for all the opportunity that he is being presented and what's going to happen in his future.
He's already talking about helping other people.